agenda is approval of minutes. Council approval of minutes for the November the 4th regular session, closed session for real estate, and closed session for personnel.
Move approval.
Motion by
Second.
Councilmember Aldridge to approve, second by Councilmember Dry. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving into the public hearings, first 3A is a public hearing for annexation of approximately 113 acres on Popham Grove Church Road, Wilson Farms. I've had a request to continue this. I'd like a representative of this group to come forward and give us an explanation for what the continuance is for.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. It's a pleasure to be before you. My name is Larry Shaheen. I'm an attorney for KCW at the McIntosh Law Firm out of Davidson, North Carolina. And the request for the continuance is at the request of my client because we understand there are some significant concerns from the community about this project. And we would like to have the opportunity to have the time to address those concerns within the community over the next 30 days until December 16th to be able to try and address those better and to be able to have an opportunity to interface with the community. We understand that there are concerns. We understand that there are people with a lot of questions. I would completely agree with them in making sure that they want to have their questions answered. And the applicant wants to make itself available and ourselves available to them at their discretion, at their time, at their earliest opportunity to be able to sit down and discuss this issue with them because we feel that this development is in the best interests of the city of Albemarle. But we want to make sure that their issues or concerns are heard and that we are able to best address them.
So I just would like to have your name again, please. I didn't
Yes,
catch
ma'am. My name is Larry Shaheen. I'm an attorney at the McIntosh Law Firm.
it. Spell that last name.
Yes, ma'am. SHAHEEN.
Thank you.
Council, you've heard the request to continue item 3A and 3B. Questions, concerns?
Mr. Mayor, just one question. I guess December 16th, my only concern as a council member is with the holidays coming up, how it's going to impact the other citizens
Right.
from that community. If in case they traveling or whatever for Christmas, it's too close to Christmas to something this important to be rescheduling after they done made preparations to be here tonight. That's my only concern.
It's up to council when you want to continue it too.
I would, this is a request, there's not been a motion yet made, so that we can discuss it, I will move that 3A, B, and C,
Not C.
not C,
3A and B.
3A and B, 3A and B, be continued based on the petitioner's request.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we can talk about the date.
Second it.
How would we inform the citizens if we don't re-advertise this public hearing?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about, the date. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there now. We've got a lot of people that are here, a lot of people that would like to be heard.
I have a motion and a second. Motion by Councilmember Hall, second by Councilmember Bramlett. Now let's discuss the date. Council, what's your wishes for a date?
Looks like you'd either have the 16th or the first one in January the 6th.
And the issue may be,
The 3rd will be a holiday, I think. Not correct?
I believe that's correct.
The 3rd will be a holiday, so you'd either, council will have to reset our January 3rd meeting.
January
I'm assuming
6th,
To the,
It's the 6th.
January
excuse me,
6th.
excuse me, my fault.
Yeah,
I-
January
I went to-
6th.
I went one meeting.
No, January 6th.
Then January 6th will be fine.
But then, okay. I'm just, the same issue may occur with January 6th as would occur, Dexter, with the 16th. I mean, you may still have,
Hopefully everybody back at work.
Yeah, I know.
I hope.
Well, I mean, Your Honor, that's really only two options, correct? Either the 16th of December or the 6th of January for the timing purposes of getting it advertised and all that.
Well, if we're going to go more than December 16th, we're going to have to advertise it again.
Sure.
so basically, that's what we'll have to, yeah.
So what?
So if we go more than 2 meetings,
Mayor,
what is it?
if you are going to postpone the meeting to a date certain, you don't have to re-advertise as long as we have a certain date tonight. That can count as the public advertisement. And we would just update just the council agenda, but there's not another formal advertisement in the paper or mailer that would go out if you're changing it tonight.
Council, what's your wishes?
January 6th.
January 6th.
Okay.
And I would put that in the original motion.
Mr. Bramlett, you add that to your second. All right, I have a motion on the floor to continue this to January the 6th for items 3A and 3B. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Sir, are you going to contact all these people, or do you want them to go out in the lobby and give you their name and addresses? How are you going to contact them?
Well, my preference would be to go outside and have every one of them that would love to be able to meet with us to give me their name and phone number, and then we will be advertising a public meeting here either in December or early part of January to be able to meet with them as soon as is possible.
Okay, I would
Early
encourage
part
you
of
to go out there, and anyone that would like to meet with these gentlemen, please step outside and give them your name and number.
Okay. Perfect. We'll do that as well.
We'll move on to item 3C. I'm going to give just a minute for everybody to step out that wants to. Moving on to item 3C is the text amendment 2406 to rescind previous amendments, text amendment 03 related to development standards. I will ask staff to introduce.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a little bit different. This is a new text amendment, 24-06. But what is it doing is effectively going back and rescinding previous text amendment TA 24-03, which was approved in June, I believe, and the items that are in that, specifically 6 sections: 9110 minimum design standards on subdivisions, City Lake Special Environs Overlay District, buffer yard requirements 92.121, 92.122 landscaping and paving of lots and streets, 92.123 sidewalks and pedestrian amenities, 92.125 structures on undeveloped lots. 4 of those are just partial. They're just amendments in the sections themselves. 92.111 and 92.125 were entirely new sections, so those would be completely removed. Just wanted to show some of the notice that was done. This is our newspaper advertisement for this hearing. We've also included our signage in 3 separate locations out there, and also our affidavit of property owners that were notified for this by mail as well. And we have included that letter for you here, just in case there's any questions about that. Very simply, let me see if I real quick. Given the possibility of better alternatives to some sections of these ordinances, staff believes there are merits for rescinding and repealing the ordinance amendment, TA 24-03, and taking opportunity to review the details of those sections consistent with the city's 2028 future land use plan and upcoming future land use plan update. On November 7th, 2024, Planning Board considered the request and unanimously approved a recommendation to City Council to repeal and rescind the ordinances with the statement of zoning consistency and reasonableness below, which we have provided for you here. We also have the letter from the planning chair as well, which states essentially the same thing. States that upon further review, Planning and Zoning Board supports staff's belief that it is best to first extend the opportunity to members of the community to provide feedback regarding the future use of land within the city of Albemarle and to forward the proposed changes to an established committee to review ordinances such as this related to future land use plans. It's the presumption that the committee will result in various recommendations to accomplish land use initiatives within the city and may improve upon the recommendations of the previously recommended ordinances. As the city awaits final land use recommendations from the committee and city residents, Planning and Zoning Board finds the repeal of TA 24-03, including the City Lake overlay district is reasonable and consistent with the future land use plan at this time. However, council decides on this, I would recommend that you utilize the recommended consistency statement of reasonableness from planning board, or the inconsistency statement provided herein, or amended as you feel fit.
Council have any questions of staff? Thank you, Kevin. Hearing none, this is a public hearing. I have a few people that have signed up to speak, and then I'll open it to the floor. Carla Wyrick, 201A Old Charlotte Road, Albemarle. Everybody will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I appear before you tonight not just as a concerned citizen, but as someone who has made their living in real estate since 1999. It is my livelihood, but it must be done in a way that protects our community. I appreciate the work city planning staff has done and their attempts to protect these sensitive areas. I understand that the landowners who inherited the property may no longer live in the area and have every reason to sell their land for the highest value. However, developers coming to our region simply are unaware of the flooding problems we have experienced since 1997. I have provided photos and documentation of these challenges for your review. As we consider the Wilson Farms annexation of rezoning 113 acres on Poplar's Grove Church Road, I must share my professional concerns about flood risk. Like many rural communities, our flood maps reflect outdated material, some dating back to 1980 to 1990s. These maps cannot account for decades of development changes, increased rainfall, or the severe flooding events that we've witnessed firsthand. Our flooding history tells a sobering story. In 1997, a 500-year flood submerged my parents' company, A.L. Louder Incorporated, under 10 feet of water here in the city. In May of 2021, we had 7 water rescues within 24 hours and 72 roads closed in the city of Albemarle. On March 12, 2022, we lost a life to flooding on Clubhouse Road beside Long Creek. In January, commercial buildings were half submerged on West Main Street, and that's January 9th of this year. During my career, I have watched Charlotte handle similar challenges. They chose to remove homes from flood-prone areas to protect waterways. In contrast, we're being asked to add more development to areas that already flood. I respectfully suggest that we need similar measures in Albemarle, specifically 100-foot or greater buffers around floodplains, lakes, and ponds, and 50-foot buffers around streams, creeks, and watered bodies. Without these protections, we risk placing an unfair burden on current residents. Every municipality in Stanley County has minimal standards, creating a mounting challenge that grows with each development. This isn't about stopping growth. It's about ensuring smart, sustainable development that protects both property values and, more importantly, lives. Let's put these basic protections in place before approving a new subdivision in our watershed. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Next is Lane Louder, 15737 City Lake Drive, Albemarle.
Let's see if I can do this here. I'm not very good at talking here. So good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Lane Louder, owner of A.L. Louder Incorporated, along with my father and my siblings. For over 55 years, our family business has operated in Albemarle. We own commercial properties throughout the city along West Main Street, Concord Road, Old Charlotte Road, Willow Street, Aquadale Road, Kingsley Drive, and City Lake Drive. All these locations have been impacted by flood waters. Our main business location has faced devastating floods. In September of 1997, over 10 feet of floodwater in our office and equipment on the yards. In September of 2018, 6 of our small businesses, tenants were impacted with three of these forced to close permanently. May of 2020, another major flood impacting our operations occurred. Even my family home on City Lake Drive, where we've lived over 55 years, is experiencing unprecedented flooding. In just the past 6 years, we've seen floodwaters increase in both frequency and volume, unlike anything we've witnessed in over 5 decades at this location. Tonight, you're considering annexing the Wilson Farm for residential development along Long Creek, while also being asked to eliminate subdivisions guidelines in the City of Albemarle City Lake environs overlay that protect sensitive areas. As someone who has repeatedly rebuilt from flood damage, both as a business owner and as a resident, I strongly urge you to implement a moratorium on all new development near watered bodies until proper zoning regulations are in place. Just last month, I assisted with flood recovery in western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. I saw firsthand how a 100-foot wide river expanded to 400 feet, and the creek beds were spread over 400 feet from their banks. We've seen similar flooding, not similar, but we don't want to see that kind of flooding come into Albemarle and Stanley County because of the impervious land that these homes would be taking. I've provided photos from our floods in 97, 2018, and 2020, and I have videos available for your review. These documents show why we must act now to protect our community's future. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne. Next is Paige Emerson, 35796 City Lake Drive.
Good evening. So over the past 3 years, I've tried to voice my opinion and my hopes for shedding light on the sensitivity of the area surrounding City Lake Drive and City Lake Park. I personally still live on that road in that area and have experienced all the events that they have mentioned to you tonight. Each of you, along with city planning and zoning, and the volunteers on the planning board have all spent a lot of time listening to the concerns of those of us that live and own property and work in this particular area. Putting together the development standards that are in place gave us a sigh of relief after 3.5 years of listening to the concerns and having the developments come forth. Because the City Lake Park and the City Lake Drive area and our community as a whole deserve the proper building standards that have been presented and are now being asked to be rescinded, because these standards will help us sustain the growth that we are going to see over the next 10 to 20 years. I respectfully urge the City Council to carefully consider the potential negative impacts of removing the development standard in this environmentally sensitive area. It will only open the door for continued harassment that has occurred by these developers to me personally and to my family. They will not stop. They have come uninvited, unannounced multiple times to our home and to my place of business. And this rescission of what you did in June and July is just going to open that door right back up. And it's pretty scary. We've had them offer, I won't mention the name, but I'll be happy to mention names if you would like to know. But they came in early this year and offered me $25,000 an acre to to purchase a privacy buffer if I would not come against the annexation of the property. But if I did come against the annexation of the property, it was $50,000 an acre. So that's how much these developers care about the current people living on the property surrounding City Lake Drive and the City Lake area. So I just come as, that's my personal plea. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin Farmer, Blakely Drive, and if you will, sir, give me your street number,
Yes, sir.
and I'm assuming that is Albemarle.
Yes, sir. It's 31986 Blakely Drive in Albemarle. It's right off the City Lake Drive. First of all, I want to say congratulations to you all for winning your elections. It'd be nice to see you guys in the future. So, we fought quite a while for these buffers and everything like that. The staff has worked so hard for these overlays and everything like that, and unfortunately, it came down to somebody suing the city. Let's be honest, somebody sued the city, and maybe not all the ducks were in a row, and kind of backing out because they're afraid of what the consequences could be. But to my understanding, the most important part is the environs overlay that has been the biggest concern. Everything that's on here has already been approved. So if the overlay is the most important part that is the issue, then why are we rescinding everything in each other subsection? Excuse me. Because I've read through everything thoroughly. The buffer yard requirements that go from single-family residence to another single-family residence, there's currently no, well, actually, because you guys approved it, there has to be at least a 25 to 50-foot buffer between single family. But what this is saying is going to take all that away. We're going backwards from what we've been trying to push to help make things more habitable for everybody else that's already living here. The buffers for the streams and the lakes and stuff like that, they're extremely important. I mean, I'm surprised nobody's talking. You all know we had the fish kill in the lake, okay? It happens, but also that happens because the water and the regulations of things aren't being properly controlled. I have Stanley Community College that their retention pond overflows and runs down through the properties, down through my property, and helps flood everything. I have pictures. I went up there the other day, and the new heavy equipment area that they're building, they're clear cutting out and right in front of the retention pond. They have another one, a B&P beside it. I don't know how well it works because everything's going to flow into the new one, the old one. But the biggest thing is I think you should be able to vote individually and say, well, we're just going to take out the overlay if that's the problem where the city won't get sued, and leave all the other standards from there. If not, then I would hate to go back and rescind everything and try and start back over when we started something already. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who cares to speak, please come forward.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Aldridge, to close the public hearing, second by Councilmember Dry. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Council is open for discussion.
Somebody mentioned the lawsuit. What is the lawsuit about?
I cannot talk about a lawsuit in open session. Council, I'll entertain a motion if you have a motion. You have two consistency statement and a inconsistency statement in your paperwork. Council wishes to make a motion. I would ask you to cite one of those.
Just would ask if there's anyone here, probably not, but is there anybody here from the planning committee? Planning and zoning.
I see no one
I
offhand.
didn't think so.
Council, do you wish to make a decision tonight?
My understanding is if there's no motion, it dies.
It does die if that council makes no motion, and it will stay, the overlay district will stay in place.
As much as I hate to do this, if we have and have been upset knowing we were gonna be right here. We did go through a long process to get here. We knew this was coming. We knew it was coming back to planning and zoning. I put a lot of trust in folks that are on the planning and zoning committee that we appoint. They take a lot of time and consideration in what they do. And I think we've either got to either approve it or not approve it. But the Planning and Zoning Committee has come to us asking that this be rescinded, and that's all this is about. There was some comments made during this public hearing about Poplar's Grove and that kind of thing. This has nothing to do right now with Poplar's Grove. It just has to do with the text amendment 2406. Rescinding what was previously approved in case TA 2403 back in the summer. Based on what planning and zoning, and I don't like doing this. I do not like doing this. Based on what they have suggested that we do. I'm going to move that we rescind it as was suggested by planning and zoning just 4 or 5 days ago. Well, on the 10 days ago, on the 7th. Using the consistency statement. And that is just for discussion so that we've got a motion on the table.
I have a motion by Councilmember Hall that we approve text amendment to rescind the previous text amendment 2403 with the consistency statement, which says, upon further review, Albemarle City Council supports staff's belief that it is best to first extend the opportunity to members of the community to provide feedback regarding the future use of the land within the city of Albemarle, and to forward the proposed changes to an established committee to review ordinance such as the related to their future land use plan. It is a presumption that this committee will result in various recommendations to accomplish land use initiatives within the city and may improve upon the recommendations of the previous recommended ordinances. As the city awaits final land use recommendations from the committee and city residents, City Council finds that the repeal of text amendment 2403, including the CLSE overlay district, which is City Lake, is reasonable and consistent with the future land use plan at this time. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
As much as I don't like and don't agree with it, I'll second her motion.
Motion by Councilmember Hall, second by Councilmember Whitley. Further discussion?
And that at least, Councilmember Whitley, at least that gets a motion up here for discussion. I mean, whether we want it or not, at least it's on here for discussion.
All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cindy?
To rescind it.
Are you up or down?
I'm down.
I have 4. Those against? 3 against. Motion carries 4-3. Now, I will tell the public here that there is a meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Waddell Center where you have an opportunity to express your opinions on the city's land use plan that they are putting together now, which will be from now to 2045. If you wish to go over there, you will be talking to our consultant and some of the staff. There may be a council member in and out. It's a drop-in. It is not a presented meeting. If you have a chance to talk to anyone you'd like to talk to, that from our staff or the consultant. Thank you very much. I have no agenda adjustments. Under unannounced delegations, I have one. Ronald Castine, 40655 Hearn Road.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I know y'all have seen me here a few times before. Today, I'm here for a little lighter thing. I noticed Tuesday after Veterans Day that the striping on 3rd Street has finally gotten done, and I'm here to thank the mayor and the city council for what they did.
Thank you, Ronald.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry that
Thank
it took
you.
so long, but glad we got it done.
Well, that's why everybody there is really enjoying it, and it is helping close up spaces between the cars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Council, your administrative reports are in your agendas. Anyone have any questions or comments? Moving on to the consent agenda. 7A, ordinance 2445, amending the fiscal year 24-25 operating budget. 7B, ordinance 2446, amending the fiscal year 24-25 operating budget. One was for Parks and Rec HVAC replacement. The other is for landfill maintenance shop repairs. 7C, ordinance 2447, adopting a project budget for the ball field lights. These will be at Don Montgomery and Rock Creek Park. And in 7D, resolution 2430, authorizing legal services of Teague, Campbell, Dennis, and Gorham, LLP. This will be to assist us with an attorney during Ms. Birch's absence.
Move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hall to approve the consent agenda, second by Councilmember Townsend. Further discussion?
May I ask a question
Yes,
about,
sir.
where is that law firm located?
I will have to defer that to Ms. Birch.
The law firm is in Western North Carolina, but the attorney that will be assisting in the interim, she's kind of mobile. She can come and go wherever she needs to. But I do believe it's headquartered in Asheville, and I think they also have an office in the Raleigh area.
Do we not have a local law firm that can do it? I don't see any reason to go out for a legal.
This,
The recommendation is based on the experience of the folks who are law partners in the practice. They have extensive knowledge in municipal and county law, and that's the reason for this particular recommendation. And Brett, you can add anything to that you'd wish.
No, that's exactly correct, and you get the benefit of having a team, and not just one attorney, but there are several that will be able to assist the city in the interim.
Municipal and governmental law is different than,
Specialist, yeah.
it is a special.
I just go on record. I hate to see us go outside if we have even the slightest possibility that we have something local that can fulfill our need. I hate to go outside.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Move on to new business. 8A, consider approval of the Musco contract for ball field lighting at Don Montgomery and Rock Creek Parks.
Mayor, I'll recognize Lisa Kinley. Sorry, Kaiser. I have another Lisa in my mind right now, who happens to work for the League of Municipalities.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, Lisa Kaiser.
I know you guys approved the project budget on the consent agenda, but just wanted to bring the contract to you. So, in your, agenda, you should see the quotes for those, the 2 ball fields in the project. So, just ask that you approve those, and if you have any questions.
Just the only question I have, and I've not looked at it, do we have a date of completion, particularly at Don Montgomery?
No, ma'am. It's
Okay.
a 8 to 12 week manufacturing time out. So
Okay.
we're looking at hopefully early March, but we'll see.
Who's the first to use that ballpark?
It will be high school.
And they'll be using it by then.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, gotcha. I'm just thrilled.
Thank you.
Move approval of both contracts.
Motion by Councilmember Hall approved, second by Councilmember Dry. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do we have anything else to come before council?
I just would ask if everybody, or if strike that, remind folks that have got, bless you, to do the ethics training, that this one, if you've done it, I know several of you have had to do it before, we've all had to do it before. I will be interested after we take it individually, if we could have a meeting at some point, Mayor, to talk about, there's about 10 different issues that are brought up on this training that I think would be beneficial to all 8 of us on this board to go back over. So once that's done, I would love to be able to talk about those
And
issues.
Mr. Aldridge, Mr. Townsend, Mr. Dry, remember, we have a deadline. It has to be done by tomorrow, I think. I think deadline's
20th.
It's
20th.
Wednesday.
Deadline's Wednesday, so maybe you won't have the opportunity after that until they do it again. Further? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 31811A, 4 and 5 for economic development and real estate.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Townsend, second by Councilmember Dry. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. By Councilmember Bramlett, second by Councilmember Whitley. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn until our next regular scheduled meeting on December the 2nd at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Motion by Councilmember Bramlett,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hunt. And let me say this before I make an announcement. Coming out of closed session for economic development and real estate, we have nothing to report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.